Well, crackers.
Completely forgot how to podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, once again to another episode of Bill Has Opinions. I am Laura White, and I'm here with Bill Perkins.
Yeah. Hello.
Who has opinions? Who has very British opinions?
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Yeah. All right. Welcome back. It's been a ridiculously long time.
It has. It's been some shit. Yeah.
And it wasn't even supposed to be this long, but then a whole other situation happened. So we might not even get into all that because I don't know that we can cover everything that happened in the last month. How do we want to start exactly? Do we want to start with because I would ask you what you've been up to, but I know that that's a big question. So
the only thing I'm going to say about what I've been up to is for the people at home who don't know, we've both been on trips in the interim. I was in the UK for the last 10 days. I just got back yesterday. I want to tell you this one anecdote that happened to me. A couple nights ago, I was leaving the pub, and they says, stick to the path, don't go through the moors. But I didn't listen. I cut through the moors, and I was attacked by something. And ever since then, I haven't slept a wink because every night, I'm haunted by these ghosts, So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. But we've already got a hey. It is just muscle memory. Is it just muscle memory? I don't know.
We'll see.
But yeah, well, let's start out with a little bit of this. What do you have in your glass?
Well, all right, I'm drinking White Rabbit White Ale from Boojum, which is the best thing at the Shell station on the corner here from your house, because that's what I passed on the way here. And I looked at a few things, but I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. I like that stuff. So I'll buy that.
Yeah, no, you could have always, all we have in the lager department is Mountain Time, but it's decent.
I don't hate that.
But you're always welcome to drink whatever we got. But also, Founders, they release new variety packs like every season.
Yeah.
So the first one I had was the All Day West Coast. Pretty tasty.
Okay.
But the new one for this season is the All Day Twist. And it's a session lemon lime IPA.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like a M. Night Shyamalan kind of twist.
Shyamalan?
Whatever. Yeah.
Yes. Well, at the end of it, you just find out that it's
it wasn't beer all along.
It wasn't beer all along. But I actually expected it to taste like Sprite, because lemon lime. It seems like a weird Lyman.
The great taste of Lyman.
Yeah, weird combination, but surprisingly good. I have had one. It is surprisingly good.
Actually, that sounds like I might like it.
You might. I'll give you a taste. It's the last one, but I'll give you a taste.
Give me a taste because I'm curious about the great taste of Lyman.
Mm-hmm.
I do usually like a good lime beer, so I think I've only had like one lime beer I hated ever that I'm aware of.
Although I was just talking to some friends that if I'm ever kidnapped, you'll know I'm kidnapped if I tweet or message something like, I'm really enjoying this Bud Light Lime.
Yeah,
that's when there's a problem.
Oh my God! Speaking of, that was a crazy thing I learned while I was there, while I was in the UK. So I went the first night I was in the pub. I walk in and the guy says, "What do you have?" And I said, "Well, what's your best lager?" And he says, "Stella Artois." And I'm like, I can get that shit at home. I said, "How about that one?" And I pointed, and it was Kronenbourg 1664s.
Oh yeah.
And
It's a good drink.
he says, well, if you don't like Stella, that's pretty much the same shit. Well, I got it. And I'm like, no, it wasn't actually. It was a lot. It was smoother than Stella. Like it had maybe the Stella's on nitro too. I don't fucking know. So maybe I should have had a Stella there because maybe it was on nitro and I would have thought, oh, hey, this is actually good.
Maybe.
But I don't.
Or cask.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say this. I had a couple of ales at that same pub, and they were served lukewarm and almost flat.
That's how it is. When we were in London, we were with a friend who shall remain nameless, and that was his thing. Like we went to a pub and we got like a hand pulled cask ale, and it was flat and warmish. It wasn't like
not like hot, not like hot, but
not even really room temperature. It was just slightly
chilled. just not like I drink a beer.
And he kind of he went and complained, and I'm like, dude. This isn't a complain-worthy thing.
You're
complaining about an entire culture.
I got two of them while I was there, and I expected it with the second one, because the first one I was like, oh, well, that's interesting, but I've read this before,
Right.
So
I learned to like it, and I do when I see a cask pulled ale like at a local brewery, I will sometimes get it because I do like that. The whole flavor situation. But also before we get into actual show, and this might be a traditionally hour-long show because it's been so long. But before we get into the actual show, I do want to take 2 minutes out of our time because I learned today, because my Facebook memories reminded me, 5 years ago today, we started this show.
Is that right?
5 years ago today.
God damn. How about that? So this is our 5-year anniversary.
It really is. So I pulled a clip.
Okay, well, I'm glad you pulled a clip.
Well,
we should have had a cake.
That's true.
Or something.
I already had a clip, so let me just play the clip.
Okay.
And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode of Bill Has Opinions. I am your co-host, Laura Lavoie, and I am joined, of course, by the titular Bill Perkins. Bill, how you doing?
I'm good, but I didn't realize I was titular.
You're definitely titular.
All right.
All right. That's the definition of the word.
Yeah, no, I'm also eponymous.
That's true. So, Bill, can you tell people what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? So this dates back to, I guess it started at Dragon Con a couple years ago. My friends realized that when you get me drunk and wound up, that I will rattle on about something for way longer than it needs to go and tell you way more than you need to know about whatever it is. And I guess I wouldn't say my wife really thinks it's funny, but she wanted to subject others to it. So she was like, hey, you see what I'm talking about? And Laura here thought Laura thinks it's funny because she doesn't live with me. So she had to pull the phone out and encourage me to go on with my rant. And that's what's been going on, although, the previous ones have been real short. Although I will say, I've had coworkers in the past always been like, hey, you should have a radio show or a podcast or whatever thing because they've noticed it too, that when you get me wound up on something, I'll talk for a while. So here we go. Here we are.
Here we are.
Look at that old school branding.
How about that?
When we just started.
Yeah, my hair was a different color.
That was mine, but not for the same reason. But lots have changed. 5 years, people. This is also our 180th episode.
Good gosh.
Yeah, right?
All right.
Doing it for a while.
I'm glad I said yes to tonight since it's the 5th anniversary.
Yeah. I wasn't sure because I figured you might be tired. But...
I woke up at a weird hour this morning. Like just an hour and a half earlier than I would normally would, but I felt like, what else am I going to do? Fuck it. Why not? And it's been forever. So
that's true.
I wanted to catch up sooner than later.
That's true. So why don't we just before we go into headlines, why don't we just dig into the BillSh and update each other?
All right.
All right. What do we start with? Oh, so I went to California.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun trip. Good times.
Yeah.
If you ever have a chance, go to Palm Springs. It was my favorite.
I would love to check out Palm Springs.
It was really, really cool. I really like Palm Springs.
Okay.
And the other thing of note that we did while we were gone was we went to 7 tiki bars in 7 days.
Damn. Okay. I
Only-
did not run to any tiki bars where I was at.
I could have found you. I don't know. Probably in London.
There's probably one in London, but yeah, I think
there used to be a Trader Vic's in London.
there's
literally.
obviously, because it's in a song.
Literally, but I don't think it's open anymore.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it closed a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So and then you went to England,
Mm-hmm.
which started out.
Oh
well,
God,
yeah,
yes.
I'll let you tell a little of that story.
So we left. God, I don't remember what night that was now.
Yeah, no, it feels like
was it the
forever ago.
20th? I think it was the 20th, maybe. I don't know. It was,
Yeah, I think it was the 20th actually.
So we flew from it. We drove to Atlanta. We flew from Atlanta to Boston. We got on a connecting flight in Boston, and we flew over the Atlantic Ocean. I watched a movie. I had dinner, and we turned around about Greenland, and we came back to Boston. And here's the funny part was because my wife was asleep. I was awake, and I actually saw the little. I was watching because I like to watch the little.
Yeah, I
tracker.
do too. Yeah, I always have it on.
Where am I at? I want to know. Yeah. Anyway, I was watching the little tracker, and I saw it say, "Leaving Boston, headed to Boston," and I went, and it did a little loop-de-loop on the thing, and I was like,
They didn't tell you?
"No, they didn't announce it."
Shit!
And I was like, "That's got to be a glitch, right? That's got to be a glitch."
Yeah, you do have to think that in that moment. It's like there's no
I'm
way
like, that's
real.
crazy. That's crazy. Although I did kind of feel the plane turn,
Mm.
but I was like, yeah, it's I don't know. Like maybe the plane just like did this because of some turbulence or something, and the computer thought we're turning around. But then like an hour later, they come on and go, hey folks, just to let you know, there has been a situation, and the situation is that the fucking Heathrow Airport shut down.
Yeah,
which you may have saw in the news. This was a couple weeks ago. But Heathrow shut down because there was the what do you call it?
Well, it was a fire.
Yeah, there's a fire, but it was not at the airport. It was
Right.
at the what do you call it? Substation. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, the substation caught on fire, and basically there was no power at the airport, and so they turned a bunch of flights around or had them land somewhere else. And so we got back to Boston the next morning, and everybody was in a mad scramble. I guess a lot of people were like booking flights. You know, this is funny. I had a coworker who was actually also headed to London the same night.
Oh, geez.
And I asked him when we finally got back to, anyway, I finally asked him what happened. And he said he had flown to his connecting flight was in Memphis, and he didn't get to leave because the flight was just canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wound up getting a different flight to Manchester and taking a train to London.
Oh, yeah.
And we looked into that for a hot minute. We were like, well, can we fly to Manchester? Can we fly to Glasgow?
Right.
But then we were like, yeah. I mean, everybody, we were like, there's a lot of people trying to do that.
Anyone all over the world that was trying. And Heathrow is it's not in Atlanta, but it's a fairly busy airport.
It's a busy airport. Well, it is a terribly busy. It's probably the busiest airport in the UK.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And
even Gatwick, like at that point, everyone's trying to fly into Gatwick, and it's not, like
right. And so we basically got to the point where we were told you can get a flight back to Heathrow on Monday. Was like the earliest you could do. And we were like, it doesn't really work for me. That's kind of a pain in the ass. Like, it's gonna fuck my whole schedule up. Fuck it, whatever. I was at the point that like we're just canceling the trip. Whatever.
Right.
We're canceling the trip. It's just off. And I said we didn't want to compete with all the people because there were some people who were just like they were returning to the UK, and those people needed to get to the fucking UK, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like they need to get back their families and shit,
or the people from that were leaving, like to come home,
right,
all over the country from London.
Yes, there's that kind of stuff. Like there were people with greater need than us to get that shit sorted. So we kind of were just like we gave it a couple of days, and then we thought about it. We were like, and Emily was like, "Well, you already have." Thursday and Friday this coming week off because we were going to take a road trip those days.
Right.
So she did some finagling and she found us another flight back. So we left on the Wednesday night right after I got off work, and then we went down there and this was out of Greenville, so it was more convenient anyway.
Right.
We did Greenville to where the fuck did we connect? I don't even remember where we connected.
New York.
I don't think it was. Where? I don't know. Some damn place.
Chicago?
No, it wasn't that far away. I don't know. I don't even remember. It seems like a lifetime ago. Anyway, we wound up getting there. Okay, that's the long
right.
story. I don't want to get in the weeds about the whole thing.
Right.
We got there and we made the whole thing work, and it actually worked out better. I wanted to mention why I brought you some stuff.
What? You brought us beans that I can put on toast?
I didn't actually bring these back from the UK. I bought these locally.
That's pretty much.
But I did eat a fair amount of these.
I can put them on toast.
You can put them. You can dump them all over your cat.
All over my cat. Also, all over regular toast.
If you dump them all over the cat, you can be like, "Hi, this is a reference to the Who's Tommy." And the cat will be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, this will go eaten.
That's a gag gift. Here's your real gift. What? I don't know why it's misspelled. It's not even the British spelling, which would have an E at the end.
Right.
It makes no sense at all. Maybe AI designed this sign. I saw it at a little flea market thing we went through.
Oh my god!
And I was just like, I have to have this.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. This is definitely I mean, this is full on. It's basically our branding,
isn't it?
Like just everything about it.
I know.
Oh my god!
So I was like, well, I must have this.
Awesome. I'm gonna toss it in the bed back here just so I don't have it in the way. But
all right.
Not that I'm doing that, but not that I'm throwing it away. I just
know.
Get it out of this. But I did have shit. Absolutely. In that period of time, I had a birthday.
Yeah, oh yeah, happy birthday. And Matt.
And
also.
Matt had a birthday.
And Emily had a birthday.
And Emily had a birthday. Everybody but you had a birthday.
Everybody but me had a birthday.
But I did, Matt got me a very incredible gift.
Okay, what did he get you?
This.
Oh yeah. I did remember seeing that, and that is nice.
You're not going to be able to see it really well but I got a new tattoo because, it really does look like AI did it. I got a new tattoo. It's because once you get one, man, it's like potato chips.
Oh, okay.
You cannot have just one. And this would be my 1, 2, 3, 4th. This one has a lot of meaning and stuff, which I don't need to go into on air, but yeah, I did do that. So, what was your favorite? So I said my favorite place on the trip to California was Palm Springs. What was your favorite place? Oh, and then I have a follow-up question.
My favorite place. That's really, really hard. But I love small towns in the UK, right? Like, because they're just cute and you get a feel for, I don't know how people live. And also they're just, well, they're old as hell. I was telling you guys this before the show. Like the town we were staying in was started in around like 1000 AD or whatever.
Sure.
So they're just old as hell. Like they've been there forever. Yeah. Let's see. Probably just the staying in that small town and like walking uptown every night, like to the pub, but by like the third or fourth night, like I hadn't really conversed with anyone, but the third or fourth night, there was some girl in the pub and she was wearing this, like one of those t-shirts like you buy at Walmart, although they don't have Walmart there. So I don't know where she got it. But she had this T-shirt, and it said something like it had some words on it, and it had like a picture of like a '70s Z28. And they were all the people at the pub were arguing about what car it was. They couldn't quite. And I was like, they were like, it's called something. So I don't know. And I was like, it's a Z28. Because I couldn't listen to them. Like,
and in that moment, you made friends.
Yes, I mean they had seen me because I'd been in there 3 or 4 nights in a row.
Sure,
but
right.
we hadn't conversed yet. And then at that point, I was like, it's a Z28, and they're like, oh yeah. Oh, okay. And I think like at first they were going to ignore me, and then they were like, "Oh, he's got an American accent. He knows what the fuck he's talking about."
You don't just have an American accent, my friend.
You
have very specific.
And then they were like, "Well, then there was a brief like stutter over because," and I was like, "Or a Z28, if you will." Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my! When we were in London, we had where our hotel was. We had one pub that we went to like once or twice, but just up the street was another. People treated it like a pub, but it was actually like a craft beer bar.
Okay.
But culturally, it was a pub. Like people,
it was a hangout.
Yeah, people hung out, and we were in there. We went there just like that. We went there every night.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a huge beer selection,
yeah.
Some from the U.S. Like I'm pretty sure they had Founders.
Well, this is actually I got segued during our beer segment,
mm-hmm.
and what I meant to tell you, aside from the Stella Artois, which is the #1 beer in the UK,
right?
I found out apparently Budweiser is the #4 beer in the UK. Did you know that?
No.
I was at the Aldi buying I saw some Hobgoblin at Aldi. Which I think I'd mentioned to you before that they used to be back in the old days of craft beer. Used to be able to get Hobgoblin on tap. Like you'd walk in a place, it was a thing people had.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it in fucking ever. And recently, I kind of like it suddenly like struck my chord with me, and I was like, "Why can't you get Hobgoblin anymore?" And I started looking it up, and apparently they still sell it. But anyway, I was at Aldi, and they had a 4-pack of Hobgoblin at Aldi, so I bought it because I was like, "Well, shit, yeah," because I missed this shit.
Right.
But anyway. I was coming out of the Aldi and I was checking out, and we got hung up on the self-checkout because of something. I don't know, because, that always happens. When you're in a foreign country and you're trying to do self-checkout, some shit will happen, and then you'll have to, like, make a whole fucking scene. And anyway, the guy next to us heard my accent, and he started asking us, "Why are you in Winchester?" And we were like, because we just thought it would be a good place to, like, center ourselves, because we stayed in Winchester when we were traveling around the South the first couple of days. And anyway, he chit-chatted with me for a few minutes and told me some things I like to see. And then I noticed on the way out that he was buying a pack of Budweiser. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are Brits buying Budweiser? That's a lousy beer. Yeah. Apparently, it's pretty popular over there.
Well, it's probably relatively cheap, and it's just an unoffensive lager. So
exactly, and it turns out that the Brits love an unoffensive lager, and like
they invented the unoffensive lager.
The funny part is they invented it, but
everyone else does.
The top 5 unoffensive lagers in the UK are not made in the UK.
Sure.
It's like Stella, that Kronenbourg, Budweiser. Now I forgot. Carlsberg.
Yeah, we had Carlsberg in London.
Yeah.
Wembley Stadium was sponsored, like the beer of Wembley Stadium was Carlsberg. That's all you could get.
Yeah.
And what was crazy in Wembley Stadium is that for soccer matches, you can't drink in the stands.
Oh.
Like it's not possible.
Yeah.
But when American football is played there, because they know that the American football fans would riot, you can drink in the stands. So but the only beer you could get was Carlsberg.
Moretti. That's another one.
Moretti.
That's another popular beer. All these popular lagers in the UK, not made in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was eye-opening to me, like how weird that was. But anyway.
So I only happened to notice because your hand was right in my face.
Oh.
Did you get a new rink while you were gone?
Oh yeah, I bought this. I told you I told you personally, like while we were there, we went to that town, Avebury, which was the town that was in the BBC miniseries, The Children of the Stones, that you made me watch a year or two ago.
Yeah,
because I said I like the trope of a small town with a secret.
Yep.
So we were in the area, so I encouraged him.
I forgot it. I was the one that told you about Children of the Stone.
So we went to Avebury, which is the town that is in Children of the Stones, because I wanted to see. So it's essentially they have a hinge like Stonehenge, although it's larger, and they built the actual town
right
inside the hinge. So there's a little tiny village that exists inside the hinge. And then there's stones, like there's like 3 or 4 rings, and they go all the fuck out into the country. Anyway, we were there, and there was a metaphysical shop that had a bunch of witchy books and
I mean, of course.
And they had these copper rings, and
you're like, I like the copper ring.
I like the copper ring. I was like, what shit? Yeah, it was £6. Who gives a shit? Like, why not buy one, right?
Hell yeah.
You know,
I'm all for, because obviously you're wearing it as your wedding band. I'm all for it. Like, I was never the fan of let's buy like the most expensive ring.
None of my wedding bands are more than $20.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all like the one I normally wear is like some sort of titanium carbide or something that was $20. I have one that's, I don't know what the fuck it's made of. It's cheap. I have a $12 one and another like $13 one or something. I just buy them and I swap them out with whatever I'm wearing, you know, because I'm like, who gives a shit, right? Like, you know.
Right. No, I'm.
But I saw this. I like the way copper looks. Although, you know, I mean, I'll take it off in a couple of days because it will turn your finger green.
Beep, beep, beep,
beep, beep, beep,
beep. Apparently, someone's stealing the neighbor's car.
Oh boy!
I imagine the neighbor's teenager is trying to steal his own car, but hasn't quite worked out the details of what makes the horn go off. Because that's what happens when you're a teenager and you're driving your first car. So yeah, what else? Is there anything else we need to catch up on? There's some. I've got some after show business.
Okay,
that's what that is. You don't need to worry about that.
I mean, no. I don't know.
Catching up wise.
That's a lot of it. I mean, you know, if people want to know more details, you know, contact me directly. I got stories. You got stories, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
We got lots of things that went on and whatever.
Well, I do have another catch up on thing, but it actually falls under headlines.
Okay, well, let's do that.
So let's switch to. So this weekend you were still gallivanting in London. Oh, that's right. My follow-up question, which has nothing to do with headlines, but I will ask it after I tell this.
Okay.
Because you were doing this at the same time I was doing the other thing. This weekend and around the globe was the kind of national protest.
Right. Yeah, right? I saw that. Bigger turnout than the inauguration, I understand.
Yeah, well, countrywide, the official numbers were what was it, 5.2 million people?
Yeah, they were like
still less than 3.5% of the population, which is what they say is necessary for change. But that's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive. I understand there were. I think I read that there were about 7,500 people in Hendersonville, the one there.
I heard that. Ours was when we were there. They said there were about 7,500 people downtown in Asheville, but the number I heard afterwards was 10,000 people, which is like 11% of the Asheville population.
Right. Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I also heard afterwards that apparently we were all paid protesters.
I did hear that too, and so I was curious about that. When is your check arriving?
I don't know.
I mean, I haven't got my George Soros check in like 3 years, and I always hear people talking about it, and I'm very put out that I've never received. I don't know whether it's going to the wrong address or what's going on.
Apparently, every single protester in the entire United States received $10 million. No, $100 million. From George each. It was literally the tweet or the Truth Social.
We should be able
literally, I wouldn't be worried about the stock market.
I know. I was like, at that rate, we should be able to take over Tesla. Like, if we just buy enough shares, we can oust Elon Musk. with that kind of money, right?
Well, right. And the math doesn't work, right? If every single protester in the United States got $100 million, that is more money than is available on the planet. The math doesn't work. It's too much.
Almost like all the children and that were on Social Security, you know, who
or the vampires,
or the vampires that were on Social Security. Yes, any of that.
Yes,
whatever the fuck. Like
the fraud is not. There's only the fraud is Musk and Trump. The fraud
that is
not,
the fraud.
That is the fraud. Yeah, no, it's insane. But it was actually a really cool day. It was really fucking hot here in Nashville. I don't know if I got sunburn. I'll find out because I'm going to the dermatologist and day after tomorrow. But she'll tell me. Trust me. She'll let me know. You look a little sunburned. But
I don't know. You don't look terribly.
No,
pink.
I don't think I got too bad.
Okay.
I mean, I had sunscreen on.
I'm actually surprised I didn't get pink because actually it didn't rain the entire time I was in the UK, and so we had the most beautiful weather.
That's awesome.
And
it rained when we were in Southern California, which is not what the song tells me.
The song says it never rains.
It never rains, but yeah. So I'm glad you got the good weather. So yeah, for sure. So follow-up question though. It's unrelated to headlines, but it was what you were doing while I was protesting. You saw Hadestown on the West End.
Oh, yes, we did.
As you know, that's my favorite musical.
I am aware.
So how did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it so much. It was very good. Yeah, I don't know. We had the best seats. Goddamn, we were, I want to say about maybe 8 rows deep. From and a little to the left of stage.
I see. You sent me a picture of the stage.
So you kind of got an idea.
It wasn't far from where we were in New York.
Yeah.
So like we were, I don't remember it was almost, we were on the aisle of like the far right seats.
Yeah.
So we were basically in the middle before the middle seats.
Okay. Well, there's no middle in this. This theater was probably smaller than a New York theater. Yeah, it only had one section that was about maybe 20 seats wide.
All right.
And we were about 3 in from the edge.
Sweet.
So, you know, we were pretty close and it was great. As I said, I was close enough to see costumes and facial expressions, which when I went to see Hamilton in Greenville, I was in the fucking nosebleed.
Right.
And
like, I hear the music.
I know there are people down there singing, but I don't know what the fuck's that, you know. I didn't bring my driving glasses, so I couldn't.
You didn't bring your little opera. Now I know why people brought the little opera.
Because if you're far enough away, you can't see shit. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, even like I said, I could have just probably gotten by with my driving glasses, but I didn't bring them in to watch a fucking show. You know, and I did because I didn't realize it was going to be that far away. So when I didn't thoroughly enjoy. I mean, I like the music in Hamilton, but that's all I got out of it was there's music
and some dancing,
but I couldn't really see anything. Is what I'm trying to say. You know,
No,
but this one I could. Everybody was delightful. I mean, the costumes were great, and I could see them all. The guy who played Orpheus was Scottish. You know, so he had that accent. I think the rest of them were all English, but he was Scottish. You know, one of the Fates was really good. She was just, I don't know, she had a presence and she had a really good voice, and so I really enjoyed her. The guy who played Hermes was fucking excellent.
Awesome.
The Hades was good. The Penelope was good, but Persephone. When I say Penelope, why did I say that? Who the fuck? Penelope.
That's a different
that's Odysseus' wife.
That's Odysseus' wife.
I was trying who the fuck is that? Okay. Okay. No. Yeah, Persephone. Sorry, she was great. But yeah, I mean, Eurydice was also. She had a good voice. I mean, it was a great cast. I don't know, like I like the whole thing.
It's such a great story, and it's so well done.
You know what? So this is interesting. This came up right as we sat down. Me and Emily started talking about musicals that we had seen and shit, and apparently we both saw Miss. We never had this discussion. We both saw Miss Saigon
separately.
You know, because we weren't together. I saw it when I was in college, and she saw it about the same age, probably.
Sure.
And she said the only thing she could remember was a helicopter landing on stage. And I was like, that's really all that happened.
Yeah,
that's what happened. I was like, it was the suckiest musical you ever saw.
That is what happened.
And I said, here's the thing about it, because there was the reason that nobody remembers Miss Saigon aside from the helicopter is because there's no bangers. There's not a single song in that musical that you walked out humming afterwards, right?
Right.
You didn't go, oh yeah. Usually when you leave a musical, there's like something that sticks out. So for me, the one that sticks out was the Why Did We Build the Wall?
Oh yeah.
That one is catchy as fuck.
You know what's great about that is the original song was written in 2010. So well before.
Oh God, I was wondering about that.
Thing.
I was wondering about that because I thought it was an allusion to that, but it precedes it. Crazy enough. Okay,
yeah, kind of like kind of like Octavia Butler, Handmaid's Tale, Octavia Butler.
Yeah, any of that.
Farewell to Sower.
Some people are just press yet. Yeah.
No, in fact, because the show had already premiered on Broadway when that happened, and Anais Mitchell had to be like, no, I
didn't mean that, but
yeah, but it's not
that. Yeah,
right.
No, but that song was catchy. It's the call and response part of it. I don't know.
Like, it is such a great song, and yeah, the one I like in the Broadway production because again, I had the experience of knowing the concept album before it. The one that I liked was the Wait for Me. Because it expanded on the original version. Okay. Like that whole part, like especially the visuals and everything, like with all the lights, the choreography, the light.
Oh yeah, the lighting.
And the
lights.
Yes, and the carnation and all of it. Like it's just that part. Because the original was just basically the first part of that song. But then it just sort of swells and it becomes this whole other thing.
Yeah.
I was totally moved by that,
right?
Because I knew the original. So it's such a great story, and it's such a great story. So my question is, we got way off track from headlines.
It's a sad song.
It's a sad song. My question is, so there's a thing, a tradition, and apparently many of the performances of it, and the moment that we all know is going to happen if we've paid any damn attention to mythology.
Yes,
but apparently the gasp is like in many theaters, people will just, like as soon as it happens, people are like, and like, did you experience that at all? Did people do that?
People weren't shocked. I was surprised. I was
a learned audience.
I was wondering. I was waiting for it to happen because I'm like, oh, this isn't going to end good. I was like, oh God,
because we know how it ends.
Because I know how it ends. Yes, exactly. And I was waiting for it to happen.
Right, but every time you hope it is a better ending, you're like, I'm rooting for you. No, my favorite version of that story is I wasn't there. This is just a story that goes around the internet, but the gasp happened, right? Like a group of some people scattered throughout the theater. I think it was New York. Gasped at the moment where you're supposed to gasp because you're like, oh no. And then like a full like musical beat later from the mezzanine, you hear, dude. And I think that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life.
It's like some guy was stoned
out of his mind, realized what happened, or like his
shit.
Yeah. It was like, oh no. Just in that moment, it hit the gravity of it totally hit him. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, I'm really glad you got to see it.
No, it was awesome.
It's my really favorite show. I'm super happy that you were able to see it.
Yeah.
My previous favorite show was Les Mis.
Which
had been for decades.
I still like Les Mis.
I like Les Mis.
Actually, Les Mis. I think Les Mis is still playing in London. I would see again.
Oh, I would totally see again. No question.
Because that one's bangers. That one's got like four
or
five.
Every song is a banger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's ones that like sometimes you'll be walking around the Master World House.
Yeah, no, I've had a few. Do you hear the people sing? Has been in my head for a while lately because of our current situation. Speaking of our current situation,
oh yeah,
The one thing you really did miss, or did you?
Did I? Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm missing it, Bob. Is that on April 2nd, which is apparently labeled Liberation Day by President Cheeto, he imposed apparently AI generated tariffs.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Like they just made fucking numbers up and put them on random countries.
Completely random, including a couple of islands that are only inhabited by penguins. And
much to the chagrin of those penguins.
Yeah, like I wish that was a joke. Like I wish that was. But it
honestly,
wasn't.
There's so many things about this administration you wish were just like the people who work at the Onion must be like, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I
can't write this shit,
how
man.
Can we? Yeah, absolutely. No, it's fucking insane. And it's caused the stock market to fucking tank. Like we're not in a complete like Great Depression moment. But it's not looking good.
It's going to be the greatest depression.
Yeah, that's true. The best depression you've ever seen.
Nobody's had a huger depression.
You sound more like Sylvester Stallone when you try to do a drop.
So I've told you in the past, I think, that my grandfather from Baltimore reminded the way he enunciated reminded me of Trump. And so I'm probably doing my grandfather from Baltimore, which is close to Philly.
Right.
So I'm sure
it's the best you've ever seen.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking insane. And I mean, I'm certainly not a economic expert.
Speaking of though, Emily's at a conference today about marketing. Specifically, she's at some conference for North Carolina towns marketing themselves, like tourism and shit.
Oh, sure, yeah.
One of the guests is an economist, he said, and he had nothing good to say about the current administration. And I was like, well, if he was any economist worth his salt, I don't know why he would.
Yeah, no, I agree. When you said that, I was bracing. But yeah, no, for fucking sure. Like economists are sort of like the fuck.
Like, I don't think there's an economist on his staff.
Yeah, exactly. No.
He employs no economists.
No, so this is the insanity of it, right? Elon Musk in the last couple of days, because most of his fortune is tied up in the market.
Right.
He came out saying these tariffs were bullshit. But he was fucking Trump's golden child a week ago.
Right.
So, and now Laura Loomer, I don't know. I don't even know what's happening. It's still stupid.
I've been waiting for the infighting, actually. That's the part where I'm going to get the popcorn and be like, that and waiting for my mother and my aunt to tell me about their Social Security checks, are the things where I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, how do you think that happened?
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, that is some serious level of bullshit. So anyway, I guess we'll see how the fall of democracy continues.
Yeah.
I do love so many people are coming up with different hobbies for the fall of democracy.
Oh yeah.
Like I started crocheting.
Okay.
And I've currently I'm working on a blanket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say I've read this. Like people always think, when this shit hits the fan that it's going to be about hoarding weapons or whatever, but you're going to want to know you're going to want to have a skill of some sort, right?
Like I can make a blanket because I can't afford blankets from China.
Exactly. Like
I can't afford yarn from China.
You're going to need weavers. You're going to need fucking, blacksmithing. That's going to be very important.
My bestie, as you know her, she took up home, not redecorating.
Okay.
She's spent the last few weeks, she remodeled her own bathroom. And then her husband was like, I really like what you did. Can you do my bathroom? So she just did his bathroom. So yeah, that's her, that she's repainting and redecorating bathrooms. Right? Okay. That seems like a completely fair fall of democracy.
I mean, I guess I feel like it's going to be a little lower on the needs level like on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Well,
like
sure.
remodeling the bathroom is up
Yeah,
towards.
but it keeps you,
It's like near self-actualization.
it keeps you from doom
It
scrolling
does-
and
it does
rage
that.
posting.
It does that. Hey, speaking of, I saw the best meme this week, and it said, "I bet doom scroll was a lot cooler back in the Middle Ages."
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no. Yeah. So the end of welcome to America 2025.
Yeah.
We're currently battling the fascists.
Oh my gosh.
People are being deported without or disappeared without reason.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, coming back into the country, I didn't tell you this, but I deleted all my social media apps from my phone because, and maybe this was a bit, I had just been reading a bunch of shit where people were like, there's no, like, I think even the ACLU said something like, there's no telling what they're going to do. Like when you come back, the customs people could seize your phone and they could see if you said anything on anything. So I deleted all my social media apps before I boarded the plane. And then I had to read down. I honestly, nothing happened because it turns out I fit the bill of a specific type, and they just ignored me or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if they're singling. I don't even know if that's the thing. Because here's the thing. That really probably depends on the customs agent and whether or not they're buying into this shit or not,
Sure,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah,
most
absolutely.
they honestly just asked me where'd you go, what'd you do, good day, sir.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience in most custom situations. But to that point, like when we went down to the rally, we didn't. I mean, Asheville was it was very busy, but it was very polite.
Mhm.
Not a lot of nobody was there troublemaking or anything like that, which is great. But before we left, I totally turned off face recognition on my phone.
Yeah.
Because if somebody they can't force you to open your phone,
Right.
but they could hold your phone up to
I've
your
never
face.
turned on face recognition.
Oh, mine has. Yeah.
Never ever.
I will.
Mine has a code that you have to type in.
Oh, I can't.
It's not a
use that
hard
anymore.
code. It's not a hard code. I'm gonna say it's.
I mean, I do have a code, but I don't need to use it.
Okay, but I've never turned on the face recognition because I just don't.
Normally, I'm just like, hi. It just.
No, I
knows who I
haven't
am.
done it, and I don't know whether it's because of that, but just because I was that prescient. They go, you know what? No, I don't want somebody being able to unlock my phone while I'm asleep.
Or or is it because you're kind of an old man and you're like, get off my lawn?
It's a little of that. It's probably a lot of that, honestly.
That's
like
fair.
I don't even want the fucking code. I just want to be able to push the button and the phone comes on.
Yeah. I just threw beer at myself. Anyway, on that note, because I have thrown beer at myself, I think we're good. Are we good for the day?
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Let's save some shit for next time.
Yeah, we will. All right. So why don't you take us away?
All right. Bill Has Opinions is engineer produced by Laura Lavoie. The opinions of Bill are his and his alone, unless Laura shared the opinions, in which case then they shared their opinion, or vice versa. I don't know. Anyways, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. # Opinion Gang and/or Can't Miss Bill Shit. And catch us again next week. I guess next week.
Yeah, next week.
All right.
We'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week with another exciting episode of this Bill Shit. We will get drunk and talk shit with two T's.
Yes, we will talk shit.
All right.
Yes.
We'll catch you then.
Bye, everybody.